going to start warping my loom. I have some of the colors on me. I put them in my IKEA bag. So I have the Barico Ultra Wool 100% superwash wool in the color number 33161. I don't mind using the superwash for the scarves, but it is a mix of superwash and not superwash. I have two of them, so it's going to be in the warp and in the weft. There's the Cascade Yarns 220 superwash merino, 100% superwash merino wool. In the color, I'm thinking it's pastel turquoise, but the color number is 90. That'll be for the warp. This one is truer to color because when I showed it last time, it was coming up darker, but it's a Patagonia yarn. In the colorway Icicle, it'll be for the weft. I have this scrap yarn that I'm thinking might look shell-like because this is the Sea Spirit scarf. And I might use a little bit of this because I don't have a lot of this color. This was from another a knitting friend who gave me some of her stash. This is the second skein of the Ultra Wool. This one is one that I'm really excited about. I'm still debating if I'm gonna have it in the warp and the weft because I don't feel like I have an underlying color for it, and I do want it to be one of the main colors for this project. So I'll see how much I use because I am going to move the table a little further, well, in another direction where I could warp, and it'll be like the size of 3/4 of the basement from where I have it to a wall, because this table is kind of like not in the middle, but it's where like where the archways are. So I will probably do that tonight, but I am going to get started on it. Then I have, this is the Lucky Tweed, this one, and it's 100% merino wool. In the colorway Fog and 454 Fog. This is a hand-dyed, hand-spun Bridget's Cart Farm yarn. I love this color. I'm thinking about putting it in because it kind of looks shell-like, and as I've said in other videos, the inspiration is from the shoreline to the sea, but not like the depths of the sea, and I want it to be like ethereal, foggy, misty, kind of ghostly, mystical, like that type of direction with this project, and I'm so excited for it. I've been wanting to do it for a while, and it's surpassed like seasons, so I will be able to continue to work on it even in the colder seasons, because my last project that was on the loom was a seasonal project, and then I didn't feel like knitting, or I'm sorry, weaving on it in other seasons, and it just sat. So that was my lesson learned with that. Although I kind of had I kind of felt like that could have been a possibility that that would happen, but I was hoping to power through it. But since I like my scarves mega long, it didn't happen to where I was like gonna work with it. I just had it just sit and sit and sit. But as soon as like it cooled down, I picked it up and I worked on it pretty like aggressively, because I just wanted it off the loom since I was like in the mood for it. But I also have other ideas that I want to come into fruition. So this is such a beautiful color. It's in the colorway Luna, I know that. And I had to find the tag for it because I think I left it in one of my other bags. I have 2 more Patagonia yarns, and I was debating whether I was going to put these in the warp, because one might overlay the other. I feel like this one will overlay this shell one, and there's not going to be too much of it. Sorry, it cut off. My mistake. I feel like this will overlay this one, and it won't be, it'll be, there'll be colors that show up here and there, but it won't be one of the main colors. And I have 2 Patagonia yarns that I'm thinking one will be in the warp. I was debating for what I would put in the warp, because my next project after this one, I did want to weave my hand spun, and I'm so excited for that too. I will really have to find like the other hand spun that I already finished in my storage unit. I think I might make one more trip to the storage unit, and then I'll play it by ear. I'm just, you know, sitting around trying to do other things, and now that I'm doing more academic things again, which is kind of fun, that'll occupy my time too. I will be using other yarn for the warp, for like the hand spun woven project, and then use my hand spun for the weft, because it's going to go through the reed, and it's going to be constantly moving and getting agitated as you move the reed. So you want something that'll be substantial and to be able to withstand the constant movement when you're weaving. So I have had Patagonia in a warp before, so I'm not too worried about it. But there are these colors. So sorry, the one that I just moved aside, this is Patagonia color in the colorway, I believe this is ivory. Let me see. Yes. And I used it for another project. I usually use my cream colors for like color work garments, especially for like the yoke, because it's like it kind of acts as like a blank canvas, because I like the idea of color work. It's almost like painting with yarn. And then this is another Patagonia. This label is ripped, but let me see. And just looking at it through the phone, I already really love the way that the colors are interacting with each other. So this one is in the colorway Pearl. completely fitting for this project. I'm sorry, I feel like my labels were taking a little bit to concentrate on the words, even when I said that strangely. I will work at this. I'll be honest, I don't really dislike warping. I am okay with it in some regards, but because I like my scarves so long, it does take a long time for me to work. It takes a couple hours, and sometimes I split it into 2 days. I do one half of the scarf and then I finish the rest of it. And because I also have to roll it in the back and I fill it to the brim, so if you fill it to the brim, this is the Cricut loom, the 15-inch Cricut loom. You could get a scarf that's like waist length still, and you can wrap it around twice around your neck, so that's pretty nice for those who love long scarves. When I put the yarn down, I already liked the sequence that it was in, because I will put them in a pattern, and I'm thinking maybe I could even put the blue at the end, and then there's the shell one here, but I might just go for it, or I might write it down. But not all of them are going to be in the warp, but we'll overlay. But these are majority of them. Maybe I'll just take this out, and then these are the ones that are going to be in the warp. So this is kind of what I was going for. I did switch it a little bit because this is actually the weft yarn. I'm debating if I will just put this one in the warp, and if it's gonna underlie this one, or this one might just underlie itself. And I also have this where it has paper where I could write out the sequence. I'm still debating if I'm just going to play it by ear and just do the sequence as I go, with the number of 52 in mind. I'm starting to warp now, for anybody curious of how long I do my warp for. Step 1 of 4 is complete. I warped a little bit last night, and I finished the rest of the warp just now. I'm on step 3. I'm about to thread my heddle. So I separated the yarn, and now I'm going to put the yarn through the holes, and then the top will remain in the slots. Step 4, to tie the ends to the loom. And now I can start weaving. I love the color. I finished my warp last night. I ran out of the Kelborn Woolens Lucky Tweed in the colorway Fog. So I went to my local yarn store who had that brand, but they didn't have the colorway. So it was a treat yourself moment because I got other colors that I know will be beautiful in the scarf because it's an amalgamation of different colors and yarn. So this is the Isager Soft. I got 2 of them because they're 50-gram skeins. It's 56% alpaca and 44% organic cotton. I love the feeling of alpaca, so it's a plus for me, and I do like the feeling of cotton too. I just put the Isager Soft on one of my shuttles. I am so curious about how it's going to be in my scarf, so I'll do this color and that'll be overlaying the fog, and then I'll show the pattern with the rest of the colors. I love the way that this is turning out. So the colors are low contrast, but they have different elements to them, so you can see the different sections of the pattern sequence. I love how the Luna looks like sands. It's perfect for this. There's also the pearl, which does separate the pattern, and there is such a flow with these 3 shades. So this is the icicle colorway. This is the color number 10, so it's the Cascades yarn, Isager, and the most different out of those 3 is the Barraco. This is the turquoise, and I just think it looks so beautiful, and it gives me the feeling of like coastal or tides, just so ethereal, as I said, and misty and ghostly. I have been wanting to do this for the whole year, and I am just so invigorated with excitement to continue to work on this project. I am so excited, and I just think it's so beautiful. I just wanted to add that I can't show the back of it where I rolled the paper and the yarn. For the beginning, when I started to roll up the warp, I used up the leftover blank pieces of paper that I already had from the last project. And I have plain paper in my storage unit. I didn't want to get more paper, so I have some legal documents that are old that are kind of irrelevant right now, and I rolled it up into the back. Now that I think about it, maybe I should have rolled up the important documents if I don't finish this, because I weighed the loom before the before adding the yarn and the paper, and now it's heavier. So I'll keep working on this because I am excited to work on this project. But it's not like I'm throwing out the papers, they're just coming out as I go along. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye.